there was this one guy that was doing and saying all of the right things and was
out the gate.
Yes, was absolutely everything. But there was just something, I was like, something just feels off with him.
But let me say this. The first time your dad met him, what did he say?
No.
Run. Thank you so much for joining us today. I am so excited to be here virtually talking with you about girl stuff, women stuff, mom stuff. I'm Cathy Tijerina, for those of you that don't know me, and this is...
I'm Bria Tijerina, her daughter.
So Bria has been my daughter now for how long?
21 years.
21 years, yes. And so she is recently engaged. She will be getting married in just a few short months on August 17th. And we have been through a lot of stuff together as a family. Those of you that know our story, you know Ron was in prison for 15 years, that he was released for 6 months. I got pregnant with Bria. So the first 3 years of Bria's life, she lived with me and her brothers while Ron was in prison and visited her dad in prison visiting rooms. And then Daddy came home, and she was drug around the country to sit through trainings, to be underneath the table, playing with her Polly Pockets while Ron and I were doing healthy relationship trainings and conferences. And she was picking up a lot of tidbits from watching how Ron and I interact, which is not perfect, but is permanent and healthy, and also from being at these trainings. So Beth asked us to share with you the impact that being raised in conferences and hearing information about healthy relationship and watching Ron and I interact, what was that impact on her? And also kind of talk a little bit about the difference between unhealthy relationships and healthy relationships and how Bria has had to learn those things.
So my top 3 are good communication skills, that they're forgiving, and that they're loyal. Those are
so communication skills, forgiving, and loyalty are your top 3 things.
Yes.
Okay, so tell us, what was your journey like as you began starting to date versus like now that you're engaged? Like what was that transition like for you?
Like the dating
everything.
scene?
Yeah, like everything.
Well, dating is very difficult, especially nowadays. It's all social media, dating apps, pretty much you can meet anybody anywhere sort of thing online, right? So you think like, and I feel like that's part of like a big problem in today's world is how it's good and it's got its pros and cons for sure. But yeah, there was a lot of guys that I went out with that just, they didn't make the cut. But when I was in high school, especially my senior year of high school, I had this tendency to think I could fix guys, right? They'd come, they'd have all these problems, and I'd be like, oh, well, I can fix them. I can be the one that's going to help them. I can be the one that's going to make them change. And in all reality, that's not the case at all.
and this is only Bria, right? Nobody else have ever felt like they could fix a guy. Okay, yeah, exactly. It's like, and so we would consistently tell Bria, stop falling in sympathy with broken guys. You are not looking for broken knees. You're not looking for a fixer-upper, right? Instead, you're looking for somebody who can join you and be healthy together in a relationship.
Yes, yeah. You never want to fall in love with somebody's potential, but you want to fall in love with who they are right now in this moment. And obviously, that's not saying like, they're going to make mistakes, which is where like forgiveness comes in, right? Where you need to be forgiving, but it's when those mistakes become habit that's when it's a problem. And that's when you be like, okay, like we've had this discussion, you've apologized, but your actions aren't changing. Like your actions and words, they're simply not matching up. And you need to decide, like, is that a deal breaker for you? And like, what are your deal breakers and what are your negotiables? Like what's something that you can be like, okay, like this is something that we can work from and move forward with. So
finding your purpose should not be rocket science. Why is it in life when we get excited about something, when something comes our way and we know that this is our purpose, we know this is the reason why we were put here on earth, we allow life and the circumstances thereof to snatch our joy, to steal our dreams? Why is it that we allow those things to just suffocate our growth?
Because we make it so complicated. You need a program that shows you the process, that lays it out in front of you, so that you know exactly when you're on track to unleash your fullest potential.
Because the word is, if you're faithful in the little things, you will be faithful in the big things.
In this program, we're going to teach you the process to actually reach your dreams. Some of you don't even know what your dreams are, so we're going to help you unlock that and unleash that. And then we're going to give you the process to step through all of the challenges, overcome every single obstacle in order to reach and achieve those dreams.
Part of the process of you becoming a new person for you is understanding what it means to be a TYRO, right? You're going to start reciting a pledge that is going to become your new mantra for your life, called the TYRO Pledge. And I promise you, this would change the way you think about you.
We're going to teach you the difference between a value statement and an observation. We're going to give you the formula on how to be successful in investing your time and energy. We're going to walk you through the process of developing a mission statement.
This is not going to be easy. This is not a cakewalk. But if you're ready to live up to your greatest potential, to take on every challenge that's in front of you and conquer them, then you're ready to be a TYRO.
You must know you are not on this path alone. As you go through this course, you're going to be going through this course with people all across the world. There are TYROs worldwide that are waiting to welcome you into this community, to become a person worth following and join the network that is transforming their lives and their communities.
The greatest honor of completing TYRO is to earn the TYRO pen. Many people from across the world, from all walks of life, have earned the TYRO pen by completing the 12 workshops that are in this program. But just because you signed up, and maybe you showed up for one or two of them, doesn't give you the right to earn the TYRO pen. You must complete this entire program to be pinned a TYRO.
This pinning is an outward symbol of something that's happened on the inside. Because throughout the TYRO process, you are going to be awakened to your purpose and your dreams. Your heartbeat begins to resurrect and beat again for the passion of being a leader in your home, your community, and your workplace.
If your dreams don't scare you, then you are not dreaming big enough. Sign up for this program if you're ready to be pushed to your greatest potential. Sign up for this program if you're ready to live the next level of life. You have what it takes. Everything that you need is right inside you. We're here to help you pull it out, your greatest potential. Quit running from yourself. Become the man or the woman that you were called to be here today, right now.
Okay, so tell us, Bria, so now as you have looked for, do you remember in 8th grade when you were starting to date and you were liking this guy who in 8th grade was already smoking, getting high, drinking, and we were like, whoa, what are you doing, right? Mm-hmm. And she's like, Mom, he's a fixer-upper. He's got a lot of potential, and I can just see, he's young. By the time we graduate from high school, like, I'm going to get him in line. And so Dad insisted we do an activity. Do you remember what that was?
Oh, is it like the question, list of questions?
And your list.
And yes. Oh. So in 8th grade, both of my parents sat me down and we made a list of all of my must-haves for my future husband. So my list was half a page, my mom's was a full page, and my dad's was 3 pages front and back.
Yeah. So Bria's were things like?
Mine was like tall, strong, athletic, can sing, likes to play an instrument, good with kids, outgoing.
Yeah, Dad's were like, must brush his teeth every day, shower every day, must have a positive outlook on life, must be employed, and must like your family, must love the Lord, must be going to church regularly before you meet him. So he had this very exhaustive list, like even like if his feet stink, that he puts his socks in the washer on his own. So, I mean, it was a little bit like over the top. But it really made Bria stop and think, you know what, does it matter to me whether or not this person brushes their teeth every day? Does it matter?
Yeah.
Yeah, it does matter, right? So things that she wasn't thinking about, Ron was thinking about from a guy's perspective. And then I had other things like, industrious, hardworking, is motivated, is kind, likes kids. And so as she looked at those, she put all of these lists together in a folder and said, okay, well, here's the standard. Here's what I'm looking for. Mm-hmm. And when did you take that folder out again?
I didn't take that folder out and really look at it and compare a guy I was dating until my fiance. We had been dating, I think, a couple months, and I found it. I was like, oh. And my mom and I sat down, and we opened up the folder, and we looked at it, and I was like, let's compare them. Let's compare them.
Let's see if he measures up, right?
And so we sat down, and we compared them, and we were going through the list. We're like, all right, he's got that, he's got that, he's got that, he's got that. And I think he probably got like a 98%.
Yeah.
At least.
Including Dad's list. So it was Mom, Dad, and Bria. And so then Bria was like, wow, like he might be the one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was still very cautious because I'm like, it's still the beginning, you know, like the love bombing and things like that. I was very cautious with that because I've dealt with that in the past.
Wait, what is love bombing?
It is where at the beginning somebody's all in, giving you their all, and like doing and saying all of the right things, and then slowly over time they will take it away, right? Maybe they're giving 100% at the beginning, and then they slowly take it down like 95. Okay, it's only 5% less, like, and that's fine. We can work with that. But slowly over time, it decreases to where the point where it becomes an unhealthy, like toxic relationship, like. And I think
you had had that before.
Yes, yeah. There was this one guy that was doing and saying all of the right things and was
out the gate.
Yes, was absolutely everything. But there was just something. I was like, something just feels off with him.
But let me say this: the first time your dad met him, what did he say?
No.
Run. Get away from that guy. He is not who he's telling you he is. I can see through him. Mm-hmm. This guy is not healthy, and you should not be dating him. And Bria, I can
fix him.
Fix him.
But he hadn't really shown his like what he needed to be fixed yet. And then it was like the first time he met my whole family, I got a message from a girl saying that he had slept with her like 2 nights prior to that. And so I was like, oh, I knew something was wrong. I knew something was off. But had I not been cautious about that and be like, okay, like, yeah, right now he's doing and saying all of the right things in the very beginning. And
you might have been all in.
I might have been all in and then ended up completely heartbroken and shattered and had this tie to this person that isn't worth any of my time.
Hey, sweetheart, you got that blank piece of paper that I need?
Sure do. Right here.
Well, that's not a blank piece of paper.
It obviously is a blank piece of paper.
This is not a blank piece of paper. Why is it that you always give me something that's not what I want?
You know what, Ron? It's obviously blank.
I do not
don't know
want
what you're
this. This is
complaining
not
about.
what I wanted.
Oh, no matter what I do, it's always wrong. You
What are
find
you
fault in
talking
everything.
about?
It's obviously
This is
a blank
not
piece of paper.
blank.
I am sick and
Why
tired
do
of
you
arguing all
always
the time.
trip
It's
in
never
this?
good
You
enough.
never
I'm
listen to what I'm
tired of
telling
you. I'm done.
Just stop! Wow, what did you just witness? I'm Ron Tijerina.
And I'm Cathy Tijerina.
And together we have been working with tens of thousands of couples for the last 2 decades.
And we have been helping couples understand that nobody's right and nobody's wrong. They're just each seeing it from their own perspective and unable to bridge together.
So when's the last time you were in a discussion with your significant other or your spouse and you had a disagreement over something so small that turned into something so big?
So many of the couples we work with have this experience where they argue about something because they only see it from their own perspective.
So I'm looking at it from my vantage point, and guess what? Frankly, I'm only want to see it my way, because it's my way or the what? The highway.
Over time, what happens is these issues start to pile up and they create more and more distance between couples. And so now we're arguing about every small thing because we have to defend our perspective.
As we began arguing, it really was apparent whose side I was on. I wasn't on her side and she wasn't on my side. In fact, we were on opposite teams.
We became enemies, and what was more important for us was to be right than for us to actually understand each other. When couples do this, they continue to erode their relationship. What you need to do is get the issues out from between you, move them out in front of you, and remember that you're a team able to navigate through anything together by seeing all sides of the issue.
Now remember, there is nothing more important than us.
If you are sick and tired of being on opposite sides and arguing over every small thing, then this is exactly where you need to be.
Now it's time to introduce you to a program that's going to teach you how to resolve these issues.
In this dynamic program that's internationally recognized, you're going to learn how to resolve conflict, how to get on the same page and listen for understanding. Couple communication, which was written by Dr. Sherrod Miller and Dr. Phyllis Miller, will actually help you be on the same team and recognize the power of resolving conflict together.
One of the greatest tools that you're going to embrace is really coming to the understanding that what you've been doing is natural. But this is learned behavior, and we're about ready to take you to a next level on how to enhance your relationship.
Now, if you're sick and tired of having all of these petty issues come between you, if you are exhausted from every time that you have interaction with your spouse, it turns into drama, then this is where you want to be. You want to sign up for couple communication. You want to take this program together, and I guarantee you that you are going to love it.
Before I even came, I had controlling issues. I had problems with actually being able to talk to my fiance. And since I've been here and learned new experienced efforts, I can change my life now, and I can actually listen to her and know what to help her with.
Information that was given was really helpful. We'll be able to use it in our everyday life for our marriage, for our children, and everything else. So really enjoyed this weekend.
It's helped me to be able to let down guards that I was not willing to let down, because now I see a change in him, and I see him, becoming a different person than he was. He's more excited about the whole project, and now we're thinking like, we want to be a part of something like this.
Stop telling yourself that tomorrow you're gonna do better. Stop saying to yourself, tomorrow I'll find that program. Today's your opportunity to do something not only for yourself, but for all those around you.
In couple communication, you're going to learn a brand new process. This process is going to help you avoid ever fighting over petty stuff again. It's going to take you to a new level in your relationship as you learn how to listen for understanding, to clearly articulate and share from your own experience. You're going to get on the mats. You're going to have notepads. You're going to learn skills that you're going to be like, wow, if only I had known this at the beginning.
It's not too late. We are all on this journey. We are all on this continuous improvement plan. But guess what? You have to take the first step, and let today be that first step for you and your significant other.
If you're ready to like each other again and be on the same team, this is the program for you. Sign up today. Today, we see a lot of this like crazy hookup, right? And I know like when you were in college, you would be like, oh my gosh, Mom, it is insane. Like you were hearing it from both the girl side and the guy side. And so they were talking about, hey, we're both in it for this casual relationship, and that never worked. So can you talk a little bit about that? Because I think that's really interesting. Like a guy's like, yeah, I'm just having sex with her. We don't have a real relationship. And the girl's like, initially like, oh yeah, that's fine. That's all I want too. And then things go south really fast.
Yes, yeah. I feel like as girls, we're biologically and genetically different from guys. It's just how we're made. Not a bad thing, just facts. But I feel like as girls, we can even go into a relationship and be like, yeah, no strings attached. Like, that's fine. But we're probably going to be turning around, talking to our friends. I'm going to fix them. I'm going to be the one that makes them want a relationship, that makes them want that commitment. And that's simply just not the case. Like, and you don't want to have to do that. You guys do not want a guy that you have to be like, oh, I'm going to change him. I'm going to be the one to fix him. You shouldn't have to do that.
Right. Like,
you don't want that kind of guy. You guys deserve so much more and better than that. You want somebody that's going to be like, no, that's already who he is, right? A class that we teach with the youth, at least, is called Dating Criteria. And we have them make this big list of all of their must-haves and everything. And then we talk to them about like forgiveness and their negotiables and non-negotiables. But ultimately what we want to tell them is like, don't settle for less than what you deserve. Like, you guys deserve all of this list and more. But one, you have to be that list first. Like, you have to be, if you want a man of integrity and a man of honor, you have to be a woman of integrity and a woman of honor as well before you can receive that.
And what was really interesting, ladies, as we were getting ready to talk, and I told Bria, and Bria says, Mom, I don't really think I learned anything from you and Dad. I just knew it. I just grew up totally knowing all of this stuff. And so then I said, so you don't think that maybe sitting in the conferences, sitting at the table, living with us maybe influenced the way you think? And then she sits there a minute, she goes, yeah, maybe. Because she says a lot of the stuff that she says to some of her friends and a lot of the ladies, she says, I feel like it's common sense, but nobody is paying attention. Just because that we established a culture of not perfection. Again, Ron and I are not perfect. We don't have a perfect family. No relationship is perfect. But we established a culture of a certain standard to say, hey, healthy. That's what we're looking for. We're looking for something healthy. And healthy doesn't just mean, oh, hey, this guy is showing up and he really likes me and he's got a job.
No. If those are your standards, the bar is on the absolute floor. And
wait, say that again. Say that again. If that's all you're looking for, where's your bar?
On the floor, right? You want a man that, like, when you're looking at guys to date and potentially marry, is that who you want to be the father of your kids? Is that who you want your kids to look at and be like, yeah, if you have a son, do you want your son to look at him and be like, I want to be like my dad when I get older? If you have a daughter, be like, I want to marry somebody like my dad when I'm older. Or do you want them to be like, I don't want anything to do with my dad. I hope I never come across another guy like him. And it's important to think about those things as you're looking for like a potential partner or, you know.
So when your current, I'm going to call him Joshua. Okay, that's his real name. When your current boyfriend, who's now your fiance, showed up, and he was like, wow, right? And then how were you? Were you like, oh yes, wow, right in?
No.
No.
For the longest time.
But here's this guy, like he's a first responder. He's good looking, and he's like courting you like a crazy man. And you were still like what?
I was still like, we'll see. I don't know. I was very cautious moving into it. I wouldn't even give him a hug like 2 months into actually like dating, boyfriend and girlfriend. I would pat him on the back and I'd run away. Why? I don't know.
Because you're like, he's going to earn this. He's going to earn my affection.
Yeah. So I was just very cautious moving forward with it. And even like after our first date, he went home and he told his family, he's like, oh, this girl she's amazing. I really like her, but I don't think she likes me at all. And I did like him at least a little bit.
So here's my question. You know, a lot of times, ladies, that what we hear is, well, I don't want to make it seem like I think I'm better than they are, that like I'm some sort of like a queen, that they have to, you know, really be subservient and earn my good graces. And so they, again, drop the bar to the floor because of that feeling of insecurity that, you know, I don't even, you know, am I really worth all of this? And so what would you say to that, Bria? Being Ron's daughter.
Well, you are worth all of that and more, 100%. And you should be treated like a queen. Like, you should not ever settle for less than that. Like, when I was dating,
Before
Joshua, yes. And in complete transparency, I dated a lot. Like, I was on quite a few dates, and I had a standard. I didn't have expectations, because when you have expectations and they don't meet it, then you get disappointed. But if you have a standard and they either meet it or they don't. So if they meet that standard, then awesome. Maybe then, yeah, they can get a second date. But if I go on a first date and they don't open the door, they don't pay for my meal, they don't treat me like the queen I am, then I'm not going to waste my time with that, because if that's how they're treating me on the first date, it's only going to get worse and worse from there. In fact, actually, on dates that I would go on, I would stand by the door, like their car door, and if they wouldn't open it, I'd stand there and be like, I'm sorry, I don't go on dates with guys that don't open my car, like the door to the car. And they'd look at me, they'd be like, really? I'd be like, yeah. And I'd either go to like walk inside and they'd be like, whoa, wait. And then they'd open it. And that way, right off the bat, you're setting your standard and they know. And then if they choose to like, oh, that's too much, I'm not willing to put that much effort in.
Then you know.
You
need to get out.
Yeah, then you just dodged a bullet.
So as we've set this expectation, this standard, what I don't want you to come away with is thinking like, wow, the Tijerina ladies, they're high maintenance, right? Because it is okay for someone to earn your affection, that they should be pursuing you. Mm-hmm. They should be courting you and earning the right to be in your close sphere of influence. Once they get there, then it can become more reciprocal. But up to that point, it's just like, you know what? If he can't take the time and energy to earn your respect, your love, your care, your time, then it is not going to be a healthy relationship. And as he learns that, and as he earns you, then you can begin to give more and more of yourself away. Something else Bria has said often, to girls that go on one night stands, and they'll say things like,
I always tell girls, I'm like, a guy that is not your boyfriend, you don't want to give him boyfriend privileges. Like, because if you do that, then
why
what?
should he be your boyfriend?
Why would he want to be your boyfriend? And not only that, if he is your boyfriend, you don't want to be giving him husband privileges, right? Living together, sleeping together, cleaning, cooking, doing all,
paying his bills.
Going grocery shopping. He doesn't have to worry about a thing, right? Because you're there, you're taking care of him. Why?
Yeah. Where's that gonna go?
You don't need to play house with him, right?
Yep. Make him earn and commit to you, because you are worth it. Because, her whole life, I remember when Ron came home from prison and she was not quite 4. And so she's sitting there and she says, Papa, come see my bedroom, come see my bedroom. And he went in and he sat down on her bed. And do you remember that? You probably don't remember this.
I don't remember this.
The very first thing she said to him was, Papa, you can't be on my bed. My bed, I'm saving my bed for my husband someday. And that's a long time away, right? And so it's just like really reiterating and reinforcing. Does that mean that your daughters and sons are never going to make mistakes? No, it does not. But it does mean that in the back of their mind, you are reestablishing over and over again what the standard is, what the expectation is. So Bria literally wrote down, because she was like, you know what, I'm tired of dating losers. So she wrote down, these are the top 5 things or whatever that if they don't do on a first date, I'm not going to waste my time on a second date. So I just want to say thank you so much for allowing me to be part of your journey and to be here today to share with you some lessons that we've learned together as a family on establishing healthy relationships and making those generational. So until next time, don't forget that I am rooting for you, ladies. We'll see you soon.